What's good, everybody? Jeremiah Knight here, coming to you with another episode here on this cold morning in the middle of December. It's been a while since you've heard my voice, and yeah, your boy's been busy, but glad to say all is well, especially as we closing out this 2025, which has been one hell of a year. To think that 340 is knocked out and we're about to begin another 365 brings mixed feelings. Some frustration, some excitement, some gratitude, and I'm just glad to be sharing it with you. So, nearing 2,000 downloads all time and 500 for the year, which was a goal, and I'm hoping to do more next year. But again, want to thank y'all for tuning in. Hope you guys are ready for this next year. And of course, hopefully you're ready for this next episode because it is a doozy. Last year, I had to do a lot of work on grief and loss, not only with clients, but with myself. But then I found that there was a tremendous period of growth and learning one had to experience in order to make their way through this pain, this unsettling time. I came to realize that there are a lot of stories that needed to be told or wanted to be told. And so in that, I asked Mr. Jon Tong to join us. And so our short episode on grief and loss that focused on his experience of the death of his godfather Nino was born. After listening to it several times in editing and outside of the booth, I really came to realize how special that episode was for me. It was one that was real, it called for vulnerability, and it was true authenticity in the moment. And so I decided to invite another person in that turned into a couple come in to share their story. So this time it will be our very own Dr. Jeremy Ramos and his partner Vanessa coming in to share their experience of loss that is recent. As a disclaimer, this story is about the loss of a child. So for those who are sensitive around that topic, I ask that you proceed gingerly, or it may be best to just skip this episode for this time. This is Therapy House, the podcast with Jeremiah Knight. Let's start the show. I remember getting a text in March 2022 from my roommate, Dr. Ramos. Of course, it was a common occurrence, and so I looked at it as just any old message, but soon realized that this would be his notice that he would be leaving me for his significant other, Miss Cortez. He said that they were going to get a place together and that it was just time.
We moved in together.
Left me.
I'll leave that conversation for Vanessa.
Hey, man, just stole you away.
She's the new, you the old. So, you gotta.
I guess so.
There's friction here.
There's beef. For most roommates, this would be quite a shock, especially with their lease coming up in a month, but I kinda saw this coming. Out of the whole year, I think I could count on one hand how many nights Jeremy spent at home, and so I can only take a step back and allow this to happen, especially after all the conversations we had about where he was going, what he wanted, and his hopes. In 2020, Jeremy moved back up to NorCal after the relationship with the mother of his daughter had dissolved. He spoke about the reasons behind it, and many of our conversations moving back up here for community and support, to be close to family, wasn't an easy choice. And so, with this message of him being able to take the next step, it was easy for me to step aside and wish him the best. When I met Vanessa, for the most part, I remember just a quiet lady with a big smile. Dimples would poke out and light would fill up the room. The two appeared to be very much in love, very passionate, and I felt that she meant a lot of things that Jeremy was looking for. A good mother, very supportive, very joking, and very sweet. Jeremy attained his doctorate from Marysville in education, eventually getting him a position in vocational rehabilitation through the county of San Mateo, until eventually he took a position in Los Gatos supporting refugees seeking employment. Shortly after, Vanessa joined him as a case manager. In 2023, the couple have found their groove, gotten settled into their new place, more established in their jobs, and it was then, in the month of February, that they began to have conversations about a baby.
It was February because it was right before my birthday, day before my birthday. She gave me the goodies. And May or June is when she told me that I haven't gotten some. So I think
Yeah, he like
I had left.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was leaving to go to work, and she had called me like maybe 5 minutes after me leaving and was like, "Up, I wasn't sure about something, so I tested myself. Yeah,
I'm pregnant.
I'm pregnant." I didn't get that experience with my first child. So what it meant to me was an opportunity to feel like a father, be able to have that title officially because I would have been involved in a lot of things. I mean, at least I knew from a dad's perspective that there were things and areas that I wouldn't be able to do because the baby is so dependent on mom at that point. But I knew in the areas where I could be of use that would at least give her some stress-free moments and non-worry moments. So
It was scary. I'm not gonna lie. I was scared to bring another baby in. You hope that everything's gonna work out, but you always have like the fear. And at least for me, what if something happens?
As you can imagine, it was a special time for them, an opportunity to further grow their family and re experience the joys of raising a child. At least that is what they hope for. No pregnancies are easy. Many are met with challenges, hardships, and unforeseen complications. According to the CDC, up to 1 in 4 pregnancies result in a miscarriage before 20 weeks, and 1 in 60 pregnancies result in a stillbirth. Seeing the blue lines appear on the pregnancy stick, hearing the heartbeat from the monitor, feeling the firmness pushing back against your fingers as you run them across the belly, sheltering your bundle of joy. What most of us feel certain is a definitive outcome of pregnancies is actually one that is never guaranteed. Fortunately, that was not the case for Jeremy Liam. On January 28th, 2024, after a succinct 49ers victory over the Detroit Lions, Vanessa and Jeremy welcomed a healthy baby boy into the world, 7 pounds, 22 inches.
So they said if you make it past 40 weeks, we're gonna go ahead and put you on the schedule to induce you. And I think they had put it down for like 40 weeks and 5 days. And then they had some openings and they called me on 40 weeks and 3 days and they were like, "Hey, do you want to come in?" And he was in the room. He was still sleeping, I think. I walk in and I was like, "You want to meet your son today?"
Burst in.
Yeah.
Wait, man.
Guess what?
No, I asked you. I said, "Do you want to meet your son today?" And he was like, "What? What do you mean?" I was like, "Yeah, they have some openings and they want to know if we can come in." And then after he was like, "Yeah," and I regretted it. I was like, that was like, the birth was definitely an experience in itself. I had a natural birth without wanting to. Epidural did not work. So felt everything. So by the time they placed him on me, I was just in pain. Everything hurt. But then I heard his little cry and it was so amazing.
Yeah, I was able to cut the umbilical cord, put him on you, and they wrapped him up, cleaned him up, and just kind of like foreseen stuff happening like as years goes. So I'm gonna do this with you, I'm gonna do that with you. But I held him high and tight like a football man. No, it felt good. Felt like we climbed Everest, and just we can slide down now.
To date, Liam is alive and well. He is a happy, energetic runner who is gradually becoming a potential running back for the New York Giants, an avid karate chopper the way he was chopping my leg last night. Although I'm happy to reveal that this story is not about the loss of Liam, it is still a story about the loss of a child, one whose name is Lenny. So tell me about Lenny.
Yeah, it started as soon as I gave birth to Liam.
Hmm?
Yeah, remember I was in the recovery room and you were like, "I think he wants a brother or a sister."
Yeah, I probably threw that out there. But I think prior to that, we knew having a child, we wanted probably another one just so that he doesn't grow up so much by himself, or as Joshua and Lila grow up, and they leave the house or they're in high school, he's still in elementary. So we figured like bringing in another child will best serve him. They'll serve each other. So at some point when she was ready and recovered, we'll try again. And that we did.
I didn't think it was going to happen that fast, but it did.
I mean, you couldn't resist the mojo here. You know what I'm saying? So, no, yeah, it was
I think it was like 7 months.
Yeah, just about January up until, I wouldn't say we planned it. It was just kind of up in the air. And we was like, all right, when we get the go, we'll start. But it just evolved to organic affection that expedited that process.
And we found out the day of Canelo fight. We had gone out to dinner.
Yeah, went out to dinner. Steak at that, bro. You were already approaching, like, she was like, I haven't had steak in a while. All right, cool. Let's go out. We go out. She ordered a drink, didn't like it. Ordered a steak as she normally likes it.
Medium rare.
Medium rare. Didn't like that either. I was like, what? What's going on with you? She's like, I don't know. But I do know I might have to test myself. So we just was like, damn. All right, let's go. And so we bought some pregnancy tests and went home.
Yeah, I think we just watched the fight and then I was like, all right, I have to. Like, the suspense was killing me. So took the test, came out, flipped it over, and there they were, 2 lines, pregnant. Again. I was in shock. He was like talking to me and I was like, can you just stop talking? Because I just can't even, I don't even know what you're saying right now.
Just ears ringing.
Yeah, even though I knew it was like bound to happen, but I don't know why I was so in shock.
Just the thought of dealing with another infant, or...
Yeah, and then I felt guilty. Baby Jeremy's so little. Like, he's a baby still. He's not even a year, and we're going to have another baby. But then, as the pregnancy went on, I didn't feel guilty anymore. I was like, oh, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, there's always like the initial worry, these initial fears. And this is just more so of you identifying there's a concern, there's a possibility, there's something I have to be a little bit more mindful of as I move forward. And so even with having Liam, like how does his siblings get along with him? How are they going to be ready? And so maybe that drives your focus into talking with the siblings a little bit more. And so same thing with Liam in this moment. Do you feel like it was more so we have to be mindful and make sure that he's still a priority, he still feels loved, he still gets these our personal one-on-one time, even though he has a sister on the way?
Yeah, and he's like I said, he's a baby, so he's like really needy, right? Like he needs our attention, and so do Layla and Joshua and Dimari, but like he's a baby. I just kept thinking about that. Like, we're gonna have to really spoil him, make sure that he feels loved and he doesn't feel like he has to fight for our attention.
Yeah, we knew that was gonna be a thought, but for me at least, it was like, all right, well, if you're occupied with Lenny, he can be occupied with me. That way I'm not on the sidelines and we can switch, but at least he's a little bit more active now. By this time, he's alert, his eyes is open and playful. We had a play mat for him and a bunch of toys that I feel like I can use. So, but at this point, I mean, you also mentioned having another baby. One of my closest friends was also having his first baby at the time. And so...
Want to tell people who?
Jon Tong.
Jon Tong. So,
his first child.
I think you guys had this planned. You didn't tell me, let me in. And lo and behold, babies expected days apart. And so I wasn't involved in this.
Yeah. No, man, I wasn't involved either in that sense, but it was just one of those things, man. I went to their house one time to hang out and with Jeremy and Liam, and they told me then. At that point, I already knew we were pregnant. She was pregnant, but I didn't crash their parade. And I was like, oh, nice, congratulations. But Vanessa was like, no, let's tell them together. Jon came over with Haley, and she blurted it out. So she really didn't wait. But it was cool. In hindsight, it was not just baby Jeremy can grow with her daughter or son, and they can grow up together as well. So they'll be like days apart. And so it was a lot of like, hey, we're gonna plan this, that, third, and whatnot. And it was cool to have that experience with me, one of my closest buds. See his development with a newborn, because he's been dealing with older children as well, just as me. So he hasn't had that experience with a newborn. But I think to this point, like, he's holding his weight. He's been doing his own thing.
That's for sure. And so being able to share that moment with someone that you've been so close with, it's got to feel at least somewhat surreal. It adds to
It
it.
was surreal, but he relied on me a lot with questions that he might have had and questions that I thought I was qualified to answer. It was just, I had the experience from my daughter's, my time, my daughter, and not so much involved, to having Jeremy being involved, letting him know, like, this is some of the feelings you should feel, or at least outside looking in, some of the things you should expect. So one of my biggest things with him was telling him, like, you got to find areas where you're going to be needed, right? It's not going to be, I want daddy at this point in time. It's I need mommy. And so for Steph and for your sanity and the baby, like, you got to find your place with how to help with the day-to-day things and not feel like you're left out, because I felt left out. Didn't know how to handle it, but it all worked out.
Yeah, and I say you found a sense of kind of pride in being able to provide that knowledge and resource to him as well.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was relevant for to tell him. I mean, it might be a little bit different for him, but at least the underlying thing is there, and to be aware of and acknowledge it, because again, when you see child with mom 99% of the time, you're going to get blamed for a lot of things not happening around the house. So you got to come to terms with, like, I need to do dinner, laundry, or clean the house. If she's breastfeeding or feeding, I can change the baby, and that's kind of like my time to interact. So master those things, and then eventually, as the baby grows, your time with the baby will grow too.
Yeah. So what was it like telling your guys' families?
Of another baby?
This was cool. Yeah, because prior to that point, the older two, Joshua and Lila, at least Lila she wanted a sister, and we gave her a brother. So come in with that news, she didn't know yet. So
yeah, she didn't know yet. We told them on Christmas. Santa dropped off a special present for Lila and Joshua and baby Jeremy, obviously, but they opened it up together, and it was a little pink pajama that said "Little Sister." Lila started crying right on the spot. So.
Yeah, she cries, and Joshua's looking at her like, "Why are you crying, dude?"
Yeah, like, should we be happy or sad? What's going on? And she was
confused.
Yeah, he was confused, but
like, man up, why you crying? But he didn't know. I don't think he knew. I don't think it clicked in his mind that I'm having a baby sister. Lila immediately knew.
He's like, "Where, sister? No, I only got one." What? You had to pull him to the side and like, you had to break it down for him.
Yeah, but actually, I think we told them that we were pregnant before that, but I can't remember how we told them.
I think you're right. Yeah, we told them, because you were also showing, not by much, but what the things that you used to do, you couldn't really do with them, and so I think you had to let them know.
Yeah, then we found out the gender, and we found out it was just him and I. My doctor had wrote the gender down on the envelope, and we opened it up together. Found out we were having a girl. Well, it was exciting. I was crying. I was so happy.
Yeah, she more joy cry. She wanted another daughter to play dress up. She misses those moments with Lila. I mean, I'm just happy for them both. Lila wanted a sister. She wanted another daughter. And for me, it was more of, I get a do-over, with Lee Marie and things I wasn't able to experience with her. I was looking forward to having that experience. And I mean, similar to Jeremy and Liam in a way, right? Still babies, but that's as she grew up, the early stages of 1, 2s, and the sassiness that comes with it, what have you, is what I was looking forward to.
So, Jeremy, you come from a very large family that's spread out across the United States. Get on the line with them and letting them know, hey, baby girl on the way.
I think it was more of like, again?
Yeah.
I think it was more like, bro, slow down. But, I mean, my family, they joke around a lot, so, I mean, but they were happy. I think my brother and sister-in-law in Sacramento were more thrilled and overjoyed because they, not just with Jeremy, but we add more to the family, and they get to be a part of their upbringing. And I felt some loss because they didn't get to having an experience that with Lee Muddy, like same state but yet so far away, and still having those difficulties with mom, not being able to get her up here as often, or family interaction at my side of the family. I can see the defeat in them, and they want to be involved, they want to do a lot more. And so having that experience with Jeremy and now Lenny was just like awesome. I do come from a big family, and it's always been that way, and Yeah, just like jokingly, jokes coming through, but it's just more of happiness. My mom, she likes to blast on social media how many nieces and nephews she has and grandkids and
Well, you're a family, Vanessa. I know your mom.
Yeah.
Do you have siblings
I
too?
do. I have 2 brothers.
How did you tell them?
My mom, I mean, I think, was she one of the first people we told? I feel like, yeah. She's happy. She's so happy. Oh, doesn't care. Just like, whatever. Loves her grandkids. So, and I'm the only one that has kids. My brothers do not have any kids.
Oh.
But even like with baby Jeremy, I was always scared to tell my older brother. He was like the last one to find out. So when we told him about Lenny, he's like, why am I the last one to always find out? Like, why are you scared to tell me?
Mm-hmm.
But he's happy and my family supportive.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you tell him, hey, you're going to be an uncle again? Or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how did we? Oh, you know what? I showed up and I just had a belly.
Oh.
Yeah. So
it says, why am I the last one to
I
know?
think it was on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, I showed up with baby Jeremy and I had a belly. I think that's what it was. And then with Lenny, we told him on Thanksgiving. Yeah.
All right. And so then the journey begins. And so the month by month, how's that experience for you guys? And also, while also juggling Liam.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, I had another healthy pregnancy, no issues. But with baby Jeremy being so little, I mean, that was just like it was hard.
There's more weight, not
Yeah.
just the baby weight, it's carrying him too. So
Yeah, carrying him, then you got belly and waking up in the middle of the night, but then also like being pregnant and wanting to rest. So
yeah, man, she weathered the storm, man, but she took it like a champ. Superwoman over here,
thanks.
I
Couldn't
mean,
do it without you.
just like the beauty of pregnancy and how just like engaged she is, not just with baby Jeremy, but with all the kids. I've never seen someone so hands-on with school schedules, meals, summer schedules, and clothes. And so I knew prior to Jeremy, but also throughout Jeremy, when he was a baby, she was going to be as hands-on with Lenny as she has been with all of them. So I knew that there was beauty in watching, because I knew the kids were in good hands for sure.
So we kind of moved closer and closer to due date in the spring. We started what was that like?
We downloaded a baby app, and we would check on each week on how big she was and how it would be comparable to a fruit or a veggie, and we would send that to each other and just kind of see how big she's getting. And then it would come out with a little blurb, your baby is like this, and this is developing, and blah, blah, and it's the size of a pea, the size of a whatever, so I think that like alternative visual helped with me, at least, the overall pregnancy, and baby was healthy as well. So kind of look at that and felt nice.
Yeah, towards the end, I was taking like weekly pictures. So just like a bump update, take a little selfie and send it to him.
In the mirror.
Exactly. We were excited. We were like counting down the days. We were like wondering if she was going to come early, just because, I mean, like I was big. It was like the heaviest I've ever been with any of the kids. So lots of late night cereal.
I think that's become our tradition. Just, you want a bowl of cereal? Sure. We'll just sit there, and it just wouldn't be a common sized bowl. It would be a jug, It would just be one of the bigger ones, and
like the serving bowls.
Yeah, something you put salad in and just kind of like mix. It was just one of those bowls, and it is what it is. I'm hungry, and I usually go for Frosted Flakes, if that's what we had, but now it's been
Frosted Flakes, Cocoa Puffs. But yeah, I mean, like we were wondering, talking about if she was gonna come early or if she was gonna go past the due date. Like Jeremy Liam, I went past the due date.
If she was gonna look like him. They were gonna look like each other.
She was gonna have green eyes.
Green eyes, curly hair, whatever. Like it was just one of those discussions of how baby girl was gonna be.
Prepping. We're looking at strollers. I think we had just ordered the stroller. Yeah.
Bassinet, stroller shopping.
Just tying up all the loose ends before Lenny's arrival.
And leave it up to Vanessa. She wanted the specific stroller. We just couldn't get any stroller. We had to get
an electric
stroller. Electric stroller.
Yep.
How much did that thing cost?
It was a pretty penny.
But we did that. Yeah, we did it. I know in May, I went to New York for a weekend.
Your brother's wedding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vanessa couldn't travel, and so I went to New York hoping nothing happened. Everything would be fine. Standing by the phone.
Yeah, he was checking in on me.
Thankfully, everything went well. It's a quick trip. Came back Sunday morning. She was still fine. She was good. And we were preparing for a Thursday visit.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, she's ready to come when his due date was the 25th. It was teetering back and forth between
26, actually.
26, 27, whatever.
Yeah.
But at this date of the Thursday, the 22nd,
22nd.
they were preparing a date to come in to induce her if she went past 3 weeks.
Right. So I went in on the 22nd. I think I had an appointment. I think my doctor, she was like, if you don't go into labor, then we're going to schedule you one more visit next week. And then at that visit, we'll schedule the day to induce you. So 22nd, she measures me, measures my belly, listens to her heartbeat. Everything was fine.
As normal as anything can be, bro.
Yeah.
It's normal as all the other visits.
Yeah. Belly's measuring right on track. So yeah, go home.
It's Friday morning.
Friday, everything's fine. Go to bed. And then come Saturday, we had a date plan, right? Yeah, we had a date plan. So, but I couldn't feel her move. Wasn't feeling any movement from like the moment that I woke up. And I had mentioned it to Jeremy, and he said, "Do you want to go in?" And it's like, no, because I could felt like shifting almost, like not so much like the kicks or the punches, but kind of like shifting. So I'm like, well, I could still kind of feel like a little bit of shifting. So I think she's okay. And when my mom came over to take care of baby Jeremy, well, we went out to have like a lunch, early lunch. So yeah, we went out and then enjoyed our lunch, had a mocktail. Everything was as normal of a day, like just aside from like the worry. And he kept checking in on me. He's like, do you feel her move? I was like, no. He's like, well, maybe she'll kind of start kicking once you drink like the mocktail, right? Like sugary drink. We just were like, yeah, maybe, and still didn't feel much.
That's what we were hoping for. She's got food on her tummy. She drinks, and baby will move at some point. But just went into that date thinking like it was a normal date. Yeah, 'cause there have been times when she hadn't felt her most of the day, and she'll suddenly move, and so just kind of look at it like, all right, that's probably one of those moments. But hey, we go home, and then after that, we walk into our son limping.
Yeah, it was like after my mom left, because he wasn't doing that when my mom was there. Like when we walked in, I didn't notice it. And then my mom left, and it was like almost as soon as we shut the door, he started limping like out of nowhere, like to the point where he couldn't even like stand up. And I was like, we should probably take him to the ER.
We thought by going in, I'll go to the ER with him, and she'll go to labor and delivery to make sure she's good. We didn't expect for it to take forever type of thing. It was just like, all right, I'm going to go in, get him checked out. She's going to go in, get checked out. She's going to come meet me here, AR. And so that's what we did. We went our separate ways.
I go up to labor and delivery, and I like walk in, and I just like let the person know. It's like, I haven't felt my baby move. I just want to get a quick checkup. She's like, okay. They had me sign all like these release forms and gave me a bracelet, and they take me back into this room, and like a nurse comes in almost right away, and she's like hooking me up to these monitors. And then it's the monitor to like, it's like a band, and she's trying to find the heartbeat, and she's like, move to the side, and I'm like freaking out at that point. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there's no heartbeat, is there? And she's like, hold on. I was like, there's no heartbeat, is there? And I'm like kind of yelling because I know, and I just wanted her to like tell me. So she calls in a doctor, and the doctor comes in. They get the ultrasound machine out, and I can see her on the ultrasound that she's not moving. And at that point, I had called Jeremy, and I was like crying, called him on FaceTime, and I was like, she's dead. Like, she's dead. There's no heartbeat. In the middle of all that, they called in another doctor. And she comes in, but I know already. Like, I can see and I can hear. And there's no heartbeat, there's no movement. And that's when they were like, we're so sorry. And then he's freaking out, but also with baby Jeremy downstairs in the ER. And it was just, and somehow in between that time, we had hung up, right? Like, I don't think you were on the phone anymore, because I remember I was like laying down, and it was like a out of body experience, like where like the doctors were just like hovering over me, and I just felt like they were so far away, almost like, what is happening? It's not real.
How'd you take the call, Jeremy?
I thought she was going to tell me she's on the way down. I'm on my way, what room you in or whatever. Because as she was going through that, I was about to take baby Jeremy in to get a scan. They were going to do an x-ray of his knee, and his hip bone to his knee. Because they did an assessment too, and they noticed he was limping too, but they couldn't find the source of what was happening. So they initially started with an x-ray. And so they take us to the x-ray area, sit down on this chair so that they can prep whatever. And as I'm sitting, that's when she's called. Jeremy's irritated, he's a little like hurting a little bit, but it wasn't anything that I couldn't manage. And then I got her call. I just complete shock. Nothing. Any word or any sound I wanted to make, I couldn't come out my mouth. It was just complete shock. It was more so like of what's happening. I can't be there for her, right? With a hug, embrace, cry together. But then you're so like in the moment of, I got my other child here who's showing this huge discomfort, and then not knowing what's going on with him. So in that moment, it didn't sink in yet. And I couldn't leave him, right? No matter how much I wanted to run and go to her. So I hung up with her, and I was like, listen, I got to go into this x-ray room. They're going to go check out his leg. And that's when we hung up. But strapping him down was another thing, discomfort, and he wiggly and all that. So I had to pretty much put my entire body on him and enough so that they can take the photos. But when we got back to the room, I think that's when it really hit me. Called my brother. He didn't answer. He was working. Called my sister-in-law, who's a nurse. She answered. And that's when everything just came down. Told her what happened. I didn't even really say what happened. I just like, baby girl's dead. She was in disbelief, and she said, what? So we're in the hospital. Baby girl's dead. And then we hung up after a few minutes, and then she called my brother, and my brother then called me. What my brother does, I don't know if you might find it ironic or what a coincidence, but he's a surgical tech. He's in those labor and delivery rooms doing C-sections, and he comes across stuff that we're going through pretty often, or maybe not as often as, one, but he's been through it. It was just one of those things that was like, well, why us, I think at that point, when I got back to the room, after I spoke to my brother, and I think I sent out a message to you guys, to our group chat, just letting you guys know what's going on. I really just wanted to crawl into a hole and just scream. Just have that outlet of anger. But again, I don't think Jeremy likes nurses a lot. He tends to cry every time they're around. So in that process of dealing with that, hearing the news, telling about the news, but also him crying, and then hospital lights, it's too bright. I just couldn't take it. So it's a lot to deal with. So then I think I called her soon after, and then she told me to stay with him. She was like, "Don't come up here. I'll be okay. My mom is coming. She'll take over him. And once she's there, then you can come." So it's kind of where it's at. The X-rays, they couldn't find anything. They did take a white blood count of Jeremy, and they noticed he had a high of a white blood count. And they were just breaking it down to me as what that might mean, which is an indication of an infection somewhere. We just can't locate it. We don't know if it's the hip, the knee, whatever. They do more tests. In between that tests, her mom comes, and then we embrace, bring up to speed as to what's happening. So she sits down. I run up to her, just kind of panicking, just kind of feel like I'm hyperventilating in a way, just trying to find her. And then I found her. And then as soon as we lock eyes, it was a lot, man. It was a lot. It's a feeling, I think, as you pretty hear often, like no parent should go through that of a death of a child. But it just like so much was like, we haven't even got to hold you. We didn't even get a chance to do this with you, and how did this happen? Everything was fine.
Yeah, I think from the time when Jeremy was downstairs in the ER, it felt so long, like so long. And like think at that time, like the doctors had left the room, and a nurse, she came in and she was just like, if you have any questions, like ask me, like I will tell you as much as I know. And I think that helped me because I didn't know what the process was going to be like, right? Like what happens next. And so then she talked about that I would be induced, that I would have to give birth. And I didn't want to. I wanted to have a C-section because I didn't want to go through that whole process of giving birth to her. I just wanted her to just take her out, like as soon as possible. Just cut me open, take her out. But Jeremy and I talked about it, and just visually seeing a scar from the C-section, like I think it would be hard. And he's like, just why don't we think about just having her naturally and being induced. And so yeah, that was our two options. I just felt like that whole process took so long, and I kept asking them like, why is it taking so long? Like, put me in a room, let's go, like let's get this over with. And finally they like wheeled me, and we walked to the room. And again, it was just like so, I just felt like time was dragging. Like, when are you guys gonna induce me? When are you guys gonna give me the Pitocin? Like, come on, let's go. Like, give me the epidural. I don't want to feel anything either. Like, I think I was so disappointed that what had happened that I just wanted to rush the process of giving birth to her because there was no point.
I think she had told me when it happened about the feeling of having your child being not her heart not beating, and she's in your belly. I think that feeling and visual of your child you were expecting to come out breathing with a heartbeat and all this other stuff, and no longer there.
And I had asked one of the doctors like if she was gonna look normal when I give birth to her. Would she look like a baby? And she said, yeah, she thinks so. And it was actually from the moment that they started giving me the Pitocin and to the time I gave birth, it was probably 2 hours. It took 2 hours. It was a really fast and easy birth at that.
All that led up till early hours of the morning. She didn't start that until
It was like midnight because I gave birth to her around 2 in the morning. And then one of the labor and delivery nurse, she had also gone through a similar experience. We had a really good support system in the hospital. From the nurses to the doctors, they were really good. Very supportive.
thing in this process of like discovering and coming to this now new truth that we've had. What was the leading causes of it all? What happened? And they just provided some theories. They didn't really don't have an idea. This could have happened, that could have happened. For me, it was like that was the most frustrating part of, not knowing the answer right away.
Yeah, I remember when they placed her on my chest. She looked completely normal. She was still pink. And yeah, we didn't know what happened. The doctor is just like, it looks like it's happened really early in the morning. I think just based off of how she looked. They examined her. They examined like the placenta, the umbilical cord. There was nothing like they could visually see that could tell them this is why. And it's not like the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck or anything like that. It was just they didn't know. They try to make it as normal as possible, like as close to a live birth.
Yeah, they said that we can sit with her as long as we need it. But at that one point when we were, ready, they were going to take her. They told us about some possible examinations they can do: skin test, pathology exam, placenta exam. We didn't want them to do
An autopsy.
an autopsy. We were still in shock and disbelief, and she would sit there and hold her for hours on end. Same with me, it's just while crying, while feeling angry, questioning everything. It became too much for me. It's like my head started hurting, and my brother and my sister-in-law were able to come down close to like 8:30 in the morning, which I think me seeing them, they've seen it so often that their reaction also threw me off a little bit. My brother later explained to me like he was just trying to be strong for me and for us, and just they were there for us in whatever way we needed. So after that experience, when we were ready to start going across the hall, there was another family giving birth, and we had to go back into the room for a little bit. Just this could have been us, right? Just kind of,
Yeah, I think towards the end we were like, we're ready to go. It's too much. Crying all night. It was a lot. I remember, I think at one point you had even napped for a little bit because we hadn't slept, and I got to nap with her and held her. It's a very hard and different experience. Not everybody goes through it, which is a good thing. I don't want anybody else to go through this, right? It's so painful.
I think one other thing that we had to be conscious of is the warmth that we transfer the body heat. The baby was going through her transformation already quicker. Right, that's why they had to put the body on ice to preserve.
Yeah, they called it a cuddle cot.
They're like, we can hold her, but go back and forth because she needs to stay cold, or else she's going to start transitioning a lot faster. With the covering of the towel, the blanket, us holding her, and you can see her lips changing.
So what was it like finally leaving the hospital?
I was in shock. I remember walking out in the same clothes I walked in, with jeans and my sweater. I remember they were like, "Do you need a wheelchair?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna go." And I remember like coming out of the hospital, and it was so bright, like the sun was shining, and it was just, what the fuck happened? What was that? Why?
Yeah, it was just, I remember we were walking in the parking lot to a car, and she came to a full stop. Just can't believe this is real. Believe in the hospital without our bundle of joy. But I forgot to kind of revisit, at the same time, like I had to go back again to see my son. So I think I had made like 2-3 trips back and forth to check on him.
Yeah, from like delivery room to the ER, and he was like kind of going back and forth, and finally he was discharged. And couldn't find anything wrong with him.
They came up with the decision that he's just inflamed. His white blood cell count just was so weird. The number was just out of range, and so they couldn't come up with a determination of what happened. Well, grandma took him home, and then I was able to go upstairs with her. by the time we get home, he doesn't know what really was going on. And, my brother and my sister-in-law stayed. Her mom went home.
Yeah, I didn't really want. I kind of just wanted to be alone. And we were so tired. And I remember his brother saying, like, go take a nap. Like, we'll take over. We'll watch Jeremy Liam.
They went on a walk with him.
Yeah, we ended up taking like a 2-hour nap, maybe even longer than that. We're just so exhausted and so in shock.
You got all that, and then you still got stuff in the room.
Yeah. Her bassinet, her clothes. The stroller was still in transit. Like, we couldn't even cancel the order. And
Definitely a flood of emotions from all that to now seeing visuals of everything laid out. And to this day, we still got the bassinet up. We still got her clothes racked and the door over the door spot where we were planning to house her stuff.
we still have all her newborn clothes, all her bows, her blankets.
I think that stuff will progress and come as she develops throughout it all, and she'll decide when she's ready. I don't want to force that on her.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like Jeremy has been my rock through all this. I think from like even when we had gotten the news and he came up into the room, I think I told him like I was sorry. He's like, we are not gonna blame each other. That is one thing we are not gonna do. And he like really laid it out as how we were gonna move forward. I don't think he'll ever know how grateful I am for the way he handled everything. Like, if I could never say anything bad about it. Never. He's been amazing and patient. It still doesn't feel real. I mean, we're coming up on the 5th month and
I think Vanessa has certainly made some progress with, saying, the coming terms to where things are at right now. Is at the beginning it was tough, and as she mentioned, like trying to be her rock, like it was every day. It was something that reminded her, something she thought of. She would cry at least 5 times a day, and rightfully so. But then you go into those motions of explaining to the kids, and then still dealing with baby Jeremy. He doesn't know, and he knows one speed, and that's 100 miles an hour. And every moment of everything still needed to operate as closely as it was, especially with the baby. I think that took a whole new stance on my purpose at this point in time. At that point in time was, I need to, one, allow her to grieve the way she knows how to wants to grieve, but also kind of be that umbrella for everybody and still function as best and closely as possible. I think one thing that helped was the hospital gave us a teddy bear to resemble as closely as possible the baby's weight. She ended up being
9 pounds. 9 pounds, 5.
I think 9'5".
Yeah, 5 ounces. She was a big baby. Big girl. Long, too.
Yeah, it was close to about 21 inches long. So that teddy bear, we all hugged her multiple nights. Went to bed with her. Yeah, man, it was tough. Tough. And then going through those days and months, I personally felt that I couldn't grieve as much because I still needed to be there for her in the house. That my time will come. I think I knew that my time will come to grieve the way I felt like I should. But in the midst of all that, I still reached out to you guys. You guys checked in on me and how the family was. And, our Monday sessions have certainly helped, especially at that point in time, because it was the only really time I got face-to-face action with you and Jorge. And, Vanessa stressed that she didn't want that to change, for me at least. We might have a break or two, or once a week, or whatever week we didn't break, but at least not go months without working out or going through that phase of giving up. So I know that's certainly been a big help for me to not feel I'm in a slump. It's definitely been a constant thing for me, which is nice. And whatever constant was for her, I didn't want her to change either. I think we've been supportive in that sense of like, do what you need to do, and we'll find the time for us, but don't lose yourself in this either. We knew that we'll get through it. I knew her time will come, let her go through the days. We have our moments of thinking about the baby, thinking about what could have been, 5 months tomorrow, 5 months old, seeing how the relationships would have been, the kids, us, and everyone else. It's like, we had so many questions as to why us type of thing, but then I think later it was like, why not us? Fortunately, it was so many people go through something like this. We're not exempt from it, can exclude ourselves from something like this. And my brother mentioned a while back, like, any time of pregnancies, anything can happen. Even if you're days away, just like you were, even after. That didn't sink in until later after. It was like, damn, like, shit, this really is something, That's why you gotta be grateful for birth, because at any given time it can be taken away. I just come to solace with knowing she was loved. She was going to be loved and cared for. Vanessa's a great mother. I can only see like her happiness with dressing the baby up and putting the bows on and the dresses and styling her hair and everything.
What does healing look like for you guys now? As you kind of just continue to process these moments, continue to say goodbye to Lenny, has your idea of healing changed on what that looks like for you?
I don't think it'll ever be easy. At least I don't think I'll ever heal from it. I've learned to kind of live with it. I think some days are easier than others. There are times where I feel very angry. And it's not fair, right? Especially for the people receiving it. But you kind of have to go back to life, especially when you have kids. Healing looks very different for different people. Like, we still had 3 kids at home, but it's gotten, I wouldn't say easier, but I've been able to manage.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I don't think I would heal 100%. It's always going to be that piece of me of she's with us. She should have been with us. But learning to live with it and learning to adopt new things. We set up our altar, our urn with pictures. I like to leave the little light on to dim the light, shine it on her. Because most of the day it's shut off. And so whenever I get a chance to sit down on the couch, I'll turn it on. Just as a reminder, like, she's with us no matter what. People ask how many kids we have. I still got 5. We'll stare at the wall where she's at. Just kind of like think about her. And I see Vanessa do it often too. So also, I set up a reminder on my phone. So whenever I text Vanessa, Lenny's name comes up. And it's just my way of like keeping her with us. Another way of
Thinking about
saying her name. And we text every day. So, see baby girl's name, and we're planning to get tattoos of her.
That's special. What kind of support from others has been, the most impactful for you guys? I know you guys had talked about various couple of things, whether it's Sunday, Wednesday sessions, or whether it is the nurse in the room being able to kind of give you debriefing on what's the next steps. And
yeah, we had a lot of people reach out, especially like my coworkers. One of my coworkers, good friend, she kind of went above and beyond and got everybody. Yeah, she just got everybody on board on bringing us meals, sending us meals. It became too much that I had to like reach out and be like, we don't no more. It was nice, but also overwhelming, especially in that time. And I just wanted to be left alone, just kind of be by myself.
Yeah. My coworkers didn't do anything like that, but show me where we stood at. You guys, close friends, have reached out. Friends from back home, family. My brother, especially Joshua, he's checked in. We have a WhatsApp group chat, and I think at that point they were checking in on us, ask us how's the family, how's me, how's Vanessa doing. And he just came down not too long ago and hadn't seen us since May. I think learned to really admire the friend group that I got through this process, how supportive everyone's been, where my loyalties lie. I've learned people are in your life for so long, for certain seasons, and you kind of have to adjust, especially if they're not adding any value to your life. And we go through different phases in our life, and this was a phase that I needed people, and some didn't show up, others have. So it's just one of those. I know where I'm at now, and I'm okay with that.
Do you feel like there was any kind of support that you wish you got?
Yeah, there was one person where I felt like I wish I would have heard from them more often. Only because that's like a special relationship to me, right?
Mm.
But I mean, aside from that, I feel like
I think most people kind of get that I'm shown support by not reaching out as much. You reach out to me if you need it,
yeah.
but I think that was what's explained to her, like I'm here if you need me type of thing.
But overall, I'm grateful for the support that we have received, that I have received. Check-ins and meals and flowers, endless flowers.
Yeah, we got a bunch of flowers.
So many flowers. Beautiful flowers.
Got a bunch of vases from it too.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different in these moments, and so some people want the direct communication and frequent. Some people want people to reach out. You were loved, and you were cared about, and you had your outlets, and you got what you needed. So that's heartwarming.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
For you guys, I mean, what do you feel like this experience has taught you guys about your guys' relationship?
Well, try to go. No, but I think you go into the relationships from very early on, and you kind of learn about each other a lot, and you go through those phases too. There was times when we didn't see eye to eye on a bunch of things prior to Lenny, but going through this, you realize, at least for me, I've realized those issues are very minute, very small, and something as traumatic as this experience definitely molds you into a different being together. I feel a little bit more mature in a sense. It's just like we've been through so much together up until this point, and it's been 4 years. And often I sit back and I'm just like, I don't see anyone else who I'd rather go through it with. And she's been vulnerable with me. She's been accepting of things. She's been forgiving. She's been strong. She's been relentless. So there's a bunch of things that like throughout the course of the relationship, and then since Lenny, it's just adds another layer of just overall strength and resilience that everything else just doesn't matter compared to what we've gone through. The situations are small and shouldn't be blown into proportion, but not everything can be comparable. But all right, let's take a step back. Let's figure out that solution, because we just went through a freaking storm to be, and still going through the remnants of it. But if we can handle that, we should be able to handle everything else. So I've realized the partner that I have, partner that I want to keep, a partner that I'll want to continue to go through storms with. Not expecting sunny days every day. I just ask for grace. I ask for understanding. And we'll weather those storms too, with those pillars in place. As I expected, I'll give it. So
You're so right. All of our little problems don't even matter, shouldn't even matter. So right. And I feel like sometimes we lose track of that. Like we're human, right? Like,
in the moment of things, yeah. Things get heated for sure.
yeah. I still gotta answer.
You decided to go second. So, Jeremy is a wordsmith. I feel like you knew that.
I think it's definitely made me see Jeremy in a different way. Just having him be who he was during that time, and because it could have easily torn us apart. Not everybody comes out of it together. We could have blamed each other from the very beginning, but having him be there and seeing him that strong for the both of us was something that I didn't really expect. I don't know. Not that I was doubting him. I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't know how it was gonna develop, like what was gonna happen, the outcome. We just have to remember that small little problems shouldn't matter.
You guys have just riddled this episode with your love and mushiness. But it is definitely something beautiful to see what you guys have cultivated and leading on each other in these tough moments. So you guys have been through a lot, been through a long journey, and being able to find a partner through this and work together. Some of these instances are not, no one wants this for themselves. Sometimes it creates some beauty within it. I hope you guys continue to turn to each other and be vulnerable and support. Keep choosing each other for the process, and the beauty you create from here will be your own making. Any advice you want to give out to the listeners, those experiencing something similar, or
Try multiple avenues of support systems. You know, what have worked before might not work for something like this. Therapy, you got an unbiased person that can really support you anyway. Weave out the people that are meant to be in your life. Allow yourself to grow. Try not to put that rock on top of you, for an extended amount of time. Try to read. I know Vanessa bought me a book. I haven't finished it, but it's about learning how to grieve as a dad. There are multiple ways, a person can come out on the other side of it all. But also just trying to be consistent with the two. One of the ways is bound to stick. You roll with it.
Some good advice.
What would you say?
The same thing. Yeah, I knew that this was a traumatic experience to go through. I think it was even right after I gave birth, I was asking for information on it. I was set up with therapy almost, I would say maybe a week later. Since then, though, I haven't really kept up with it. It's been a couple of months now, right, babe? Yeah, 4 months. But therapy, I would say it's okay to have boundaries. Like, it's okay for you not to talk about it. Sometimes people are so interested in, like, your experience, right? It could be anybody, like friends, coworkers. And sometimes they can overstep, like just asking you questions or even like asking to see pictures. Like, you don't have to. And it's okay. You don't always have to talk about it.
As long as you know. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation, allowing us to come as a couple to talk about this. It's the first time Vanessa has been on the airwaves, and I think it was good for her to vent a bit and have that platform to do so. She hasn't talked much.
This could be therapy too, so more reason to step in it.
Therapy provided by
Therapy House.
by Mr. Knight himself.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for doing all the work for me. Thank you, listeners, for listening in and sending your love to Jeremy and Vanessa Cortez Ramos.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Until next time. Peace. Say bye, guys.
Yes.